have that the first time.
No. We rock on it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the X-Foils podcast. I got Arland here, Arland Miller. He was from episode number 1.
And 0.
And episode 0. Yes, that's true. We did like a no episode, which was pretty awesomely horrible. Yeah. No, it was cool. It was super fun. Like when we first started to think about doing a podcast and like actually just started to dive in and be like, okay, I'm putting something out every week. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so our first episode was kind of like what I do on every X-Foils, is interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like getting some background into who you are and what you do and how you got into foiling. And that's why I called it the X-Foils.
Yeah.
It's because
Just
I want to know why people are addicted to the foil.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I call them cases, not episodes. You know what? This
Yeah.
is like case number addicted to foil. But I really wanted to, like I did one with Roy and Gio, just a little bit off of the whole, you know, getting a new guest in every time, because it was super fun to like be a little bit more relaxed, know them. They've been on the podcast before, so people know them. If you guys don't know who Arland is, then you can go back to case number 1. You can listen to that. That was our first podcast, and it was super fun.
Yep.
Mainly just because we talk about foiling and crap all the time.
And session a lot.
Yeah, and we session a lot. We have a lot of good local insight, which you don't want to share, which is totally fine. No, I understand it. Like sharing off, like depending on the spot, local spots, but it's so hard not to like answer this. Like if somebody would hit you up on your Instagram, you post all this really cool content and foiling around Puerto Rico. If somebody was a foiler and they hit you up on Instagram,
someone not from Puerto Rico,
would you or would you not tell them where to go foiling?
I would probably take them. I would probably take them because there is, like, sadly, there is that like type of localism vibe, and there's a lot less in the foiling, but still a lot of the places where we go session, some of it is where surfers are at, you know, usually. So like if it was like somewhere like La Ocho, it's like a very public place, but you still want like, you know, a chaperone type of thing, so you know you get an idea of how not to piss off people. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do when you're session. You just want to have a good time and just, you know, not piss anyone off.
Like you've done?
Yeah, multiple times. I learned by mistakes, you know, that's the best way I learn.
Well,
you like to make them a lot?
Yeah, a lot. Almost like you're not listening.
Yeah, sometimes I'm not. There's a fine line between like knowing when you're doing something wrong and then just having someone completely blow the whole thing out of proportion. And so most of the times, it's a lot of people that just don't understand, like, you know, they'll see like 50 feet away and they'll imagine like, oh, he gets off that foil, it's coming directly for me, like 50 feet away, you know, and it's like, well, it doesn't really work like that, even though I wish I had that much glide. It doesn't really work like that. So, you know, you have to understand that a bunch of them are just like surfers that are just very jealous about their spots and stuff like that, and when they see something that they don't understand, they don't really react very positively. There are some people that react positively, but it's usually the case where I'm surfing all by myself in a spot that's barely breaking for them, so that they have no other option than to just look at me without catching waves. And then they're like, oh wow, like I kind of rather be doing that, or that looks like fun compared to what I'm doing.
Yeah, versus when it's an okay, you know, day.
Exactly. It can even be marginal. It could be like a 3 or 4 foot day, and if they can't paddle into it, they will not appreciate the art of foiling. You know, it's like, no, like get out of here. It's my day.
I don't even know if it's like exactly foiling. It's probably just you're so much easier to pick out of a lineup.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So it's easy to pick on you versus 4 new people come in. You know, there's 15 people out there, and like La Ocho, for example, it's not really a lineup.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many different little sections.
Yeah.
that kind of break. There's some people
there's
here,
like
there's some
three.
people in the back, there's some people in the front. There's like
Yeah.
4 different even
Yeah.
areas that you can catch waves in. I guess when it's a particular wave direction, one breaks better than the other. But
Yeah.
I've been out there and there's spots all
Yeah.
over the place, right?
Well,
but
so-
you're a foiler, you're so easy to be like, that's the guy I don't want here,
Yeah.
you know? Or
Yeah.
that's the jerk today.
Yeah, exactly. No, and you know, they'll see you just, you know, waiting in the bottom of the lineup, just waiting for someone to miss a wave and just grab like a little crumbler. And they're like, they automatically think like, oh, he's paddling into my wave that I haven't even paddled into yet. You know, and it's like, well, I'm gonna be mad at him now.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about a particular moment, was that you
Yeah.
were winging
Yeah,
La Ocho.
yeah, it was like,
And let's be honest,
I'm getting all defensive real quick. Let me play.
hold on a second. No, I mean, if I know the people that I'm in the water with, I'll get close enough that, you know, if
Yeah.
I make a mistake, would I hit them? No. But if they don't know who I am, would it feel dangerous? Yeah. You know, and I think that day in particular, the guy was obviously oversensitive to the thing, but you know, you could have been further away.
Yeah, yeah.
No or no?
For sure.
I can't really remember. I wasn't
You were in the
sectioning.
car.
I was in the car.
So that day in particular, July 3rd, I think. I'm just kidding. So
It was a
that-
Wednesday.
Yeah. It was raining. So, that day specifically, you know, like when I go to to La Ocho and there's people surfing, my first instinct is pretty much to just go up to them and just sit next to them and be like, hey, like, you know, you see me or all these other foilers out here, we all have understood that we can catch more waves and we're more mobile than you guys. So
Yeah.
you guys have all the priority.
Yeah.
Like every time you think we're about to catch a wave, paddle into it, and then the moment we see you guys paddling into it, we'll get out and we'll pump into another one. Like we have no issues about it. I've never met a foiler that has an issue with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always kind of tend to take that route. Just that day, the moment I was getting close to like get off the wing and talk, he just started screaming from like the top of his lungs. So, you know, you have someone that reacts pretty gnarly, your first reaction then tends to be pretty gnarly back. And it's hard to kind of keep your mind at like a chill level once you have someone just screaming at you, especially, you know, like get out of my beach, like this is our spot, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, like, you know, I've been living here for all my life, like, don't I get a piece of the beach?
Yeah.
So, you know, that localism thing, I've never been able to fully grasp my mind around it because I don't want to be a local in one beach.
Yeah.
Like we have all these beaches all over the island, and depending on like what the conditions are and stuff like that, there are better beaches and worse beaches just on a day-to-day basis. So I've never really seen the fun of having that one beach being like the one to go at. Then again, I foil, so
Yeah, you can go anywhere,
that.
typically. I mean, yeah. I would assume there's more places to surf because of shallow,
Yeah.
you know, reef and rocks and stuff. But you need a better wave.
Exactly.
Should seem to be better. Yeah, I don't love foiling at La Ocho. I prefer to drive 45 minutes to get a better wave.
Yeah, for sure.
And not scratch my foil.
Yeah, 100%. That's about better.
Yeah, but it is hard because people contact me. They're like, "Hey, where can I?" There's not a ton of people that are proning.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as
It was a little bit more popular until like winging then picked up, and then it was kind of half and half, and now the whole swing is doing the downwind. You know, like slowly you're just converting people that have been proning into downwinders now.
yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
One of my key points of bringing you here, Arland, always
Yeah.
to bitch at you about downwinding. Not bitch at you, but
Get me on it.
pretty. Yeah, this is like a therapy session.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're gonna
it
have
feels
to
like
open
it.
up.
We need more beer.
But the people that reach out to me that are coming to Puerto Rico, I feel like, yeah, it's all wingers.
Yeah.
Like wingers, no real downwinders yet, and very few prone foilers. And then when they reach out to me like, hey, where should I go prone? I'm like, oh, like
Nowhere close.
there's nowhere close.
Yeah.
The spot, I mean, there's a couple spots. There could be more, maybe
Yeah.
accessible, but we don't venture out to discover every single
Yeah.
spot that's pronable. So I'm resorted to being like, oh, there's La Ocho that you could do, but it's sketchy. There's
Yeah.
a lot of reef. You gotta have a very small mast. You gotta watch out for the locals.
Yeah.
Surfers, locals doesn't matter.
No, and even getting in and out is kind of like a little mish.
Yeah, and then our other spot in Dorado where we
Right.
go all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to explain to them
Yeah.
we'd have to walk.
Yeah, the slip
where
lane,
the-
exactly, yeah.
Where the spot to get out is. Watch out for the reefs. But this is where
We should just start laminating instructions.
I mean, yeah, I could for sure, but it's not really the point, right?
Yeah.
But we started doing like an escort.
Yeah.
Take somebody out there.
And that's
right?
better
Like a
because
guided kind of foil
Little tour.
excursion.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, this is where you can surf.
yeah.
If you can surf on a foil, man, you gotta be good,
Yeah.
right?
To a certain level, yeah.
I mean, you suck until you're good.
Exactly,
Then
yeah.
you still suck.
Yeah. It takes a long time to get pretty good at foiling. Like for proning at least. Winging I've seen people progress so quickly, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like look at Jorge. He's 2 months into it or something like that, and he's working on his transitions, but coming from someone that has only been doing boogie, to now you're foiling, pretty impressive.
You were hanging out with him this weekend, though.
Yeah, we were over there in Playuela, offshore winds, tough conditions for a beginner, and he was able to.
I'm gonna start pulling up questions little by little because you're dipping into my
To your question.
my question database here. Let me pull this up. One of the questions was from Jorge.
Okay.
Ask him how he lost his filmer.
I lost my photographer because I got him into winging,
Yeah,
pretty much,
straight up.
straight up.
He's like,
I remember he had posted something about his first solid run, and I posted it on my story. And Julian's wife actually commented. She was like, "Okay, so how does it feel to lose your photographer now?" And that was the moment where it all started kind of clicking. I was like,
you're
"Oh,
like, give me my gear back.
I made such a mistake." Every time I'm gonna tell him to go wing, he's just gonna bring his gear and leave the. That's what he did this weekend. He didn't even bring the camera.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like, damn, 2 hours just to sesh for one of the boys now. So I lost him.
He has a passion for photography and
Yeah.
filming and stuff, and
Yeah, I told him now he's gotta get good enough to wing with the camera. so he's got a few challenges ahead of him.
he actually.
Just
Yeah.
grab something. We'll make a harness thing.
I mean, he could wing out. I mean, what's his name does that? Dario.
Yeah, Dario. Yeah, Dario.
Dario goes out there with his wing, and then he sits out at the far reef
Yeah.
on his wingboard,
On the
with his
shoulder of the
camera,
wave, yeah.
ding, ding.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's
And that's a great way to get out there to where the action is, you
Yeah.
know?
and have some fun,
Yeah.
and maybe get in trouble.
Yeah. yeah.
Sitting out there with your wing on your board with your
With the water housing and everything.
$1,000 of equipment.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Just looking everywhere.
Yeah. Most of your content is from Jorge.
Most of it, yeah. Yeah, he's been the one that's just been willing to kind of get into the tougher conditions, because when we're winging, it's usually in waves, so you have current, you have wind, and it's just I feel bad for the photographers that go with me and get in the water because it's dude, you're freaking paddling there for a while. I'm just trying to stay in that same spot.
And then also you have this knife
Yeah,
riding around you,
right.
get closer, let me get the spray of the foil. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
You trust me?
Yeah.
There was one in La Ocho where I did a backflip and landed 2 feet away from Jorge.
Is he wearing a helmet?
No.
Oh, should be.
Yeah.
So should you,
Yeah.
actually. Mr. Non-Safety.
Yeah, actually, for the other day, it was pretty windy. There was like a little bit of waves. I was on that 3.5, the Nova Pro, amazing. And I was trying the 720s. For those types of things, you definitely need like a vest or a helmet, like hands down. You're just spinning so fast. I mean, there's things you can do.
Like
you know?
you're not racing at high speed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the waves.
Yeah.
You're doing backflips.
Yeah, yeah.
You're trying to do 360s. You're doing stupid things. You know. I'm gonna pop up my video of my first ever 360 backflip attempt.
Yeah. That was a great attempt.
Hilarious. I had no idea what I was
Full
doing.
send. You had no idea, and then just full send.
You're like, here's my board. Like, go for a ride. I'm like, oh,
Use
it's
the
got
straps.
on it. So I was in the straps. I'm like, well, then what am I gonna do? So I started jumping. I was like, woo, woo, and I feel so silly.
Yeah.
Right, just jumping because it was like laying over your head, and I feel like
I was like a proud father. I was like,
just look at my boy, look at my boy. And I'm like, after a couple jumps, I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm gonna throw a spin or
Yeah.
something. I was like, whoa, my God, man. Like I should have watched a video beforehand or looked into what I should have done. But I just I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna jump up and I do a spin like this.
Yeah.
And I guess I did it was a back spin. So I was doing a back spin or whatever. I jumped and did a back spin, but I kind of like went into like a back flip-ish.
Yeah.
And then my wing turned
Just
into the
caught
wind and
air,
like
yeah.
caught wind and caught air, and I just like whoop, it
Yeah.
just threw me on my back.
Yeah, it was something in between like a 360 and a backflip. I'd never seen anything like it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No, making history.
Pretty entertaining.
Making history. But yeah, those like when I started doing freestyle, every time the wing caught the wind, that would really send you like to the water pretty quick.
Yes.
You know, it would remind me of like those beginning days at like kiting, and then just getting slammed. So,
It's totally different.
100%, but you're still kind of going in there with some force. You know, you hit that water and that leading edge hits the water. You're like, fuck, I just got hit hard.
Yeah, it wasn't super fun. It's not like the next day I went and put straps on my board and decided I was going to do some.
Not yet.
I mean, I'm going to eventually do it.
Yeah. You can strap those airs.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. Were you the one that sent me that KT meme
Yeah.
of like the friend like convincing them to do strapless air?
Yeah,
I think it was like Kane. Like
yeah, shout out to
Kane.
Kane. That video was sick. Yeah.
Are you following you don't follow the downwind paddle races or anything?
Well, I saw they had one in Hawaii now.
Yeah.
I kind of just hear them from you guys, you know, from you and Walt mostly, and Instagram. You know, when most of the foilers are down there, they had this huge event, dude. It was like 300 something people.
Yeah, it's called the paddling one.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I saw all the North guys' videos. It looked like they were having a blast.
Harley was there.
Yeah, I would
Adrian
just go
was there.
just to hang out with everyone because all the foilers that I've met are just so cool.
Well, they did a wing race.
Yeah.
They did a kite race. They did pro and paddle. They did a bunch of different. It's like it's not only downwind foiling.
Yeah.
The Imua is like this charity event.
It's like for kids with special needs. So it's awesome that they have like these great events with awesome people for a great cause.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to them.
Bringing awareness.
Yeah.
Josh Koo didn't make it, by the way.
Oh, you didn't?
No, they didn't let him into the States.
Oh
Yeah, he got sent home.
no. No, really?
Yeah.
Down under?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Straight back. They're like, no, you're not welcome here in the States.
I don't think they've realized the mistake that they've made.
think they care.
They don't. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. So tell me about your non-safety tips. I want to talk to you about it because it hits me personally.
Yeah. Well, it's never hit you personally. My foot's never hit you. That one time. That was a while ago, though. We were still wearing leashes back then.
And it hit me?
Well, we collided.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Mostly your fault.
Yeah, probably.
No, I mean, I'm
Because I gave you this beautiful Mystic helmet,
Yeah.
Vandal Pro, fits beautifully.
Yeah, it is.
I used it a couple times
Yeah.
to like go towing.
Yeah.
When we go towing, I'd force you to wear it.
Yeah.
Because I always would wear it. So
Yeah.
you could switch it off.
Yeah.
And then you just stopped. And then you used it for winging, and then you stopped.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit your noggin.
Yeah,
Doing these
it was.
flips.
It's actually a great tool. I just don't use it, I guess, because it's just another thing I have to carry with. But
Lazy.
yeah,
So that's it.
it just looks like better hung in my wall at home.
It's in the back of my truck, so I think that's a lie.
Really? Because I have one at home. Do they have my stickers on it?
I think I have yours back.
The surfing sumo?
Yeah.
Then I probably have one of yours at home. As I saw it this morning, I was like, damn, that could have been useful.
So helmet's a trend, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody that's doing wing freestyle are wearing it or not.
I think so, especially those guys that are just hitting more extreme stuff. Because I don't hit, like, the things I know how to do aren't as extreme.
Yeah.
You know, it's a simple 360 or a backflip.
I
Like,
mean, look, anytime you're swinging a foil around you, it's extreme. I think
it could
for
be
me, the worst one is like when you land and it bucks you.
Yeah.
You come backwards.
Yeah.
You go to land on your back, but your feet are in it. So the foil it flips like this, and it's just a perfect
Yeah.
perfect axe going straight to your head and your wing.
Yeah, I don't
Never
think-
had that.
I don't think I've ever had that. I think the biggest issue for me is just when I slip off the straps. Like when you slip off the straps and you're going up and then just one hangs on for a little too long and then you're just like starting that free fall, that's where it can get really sketchy. And for that type of stuff, I would probably start using more impact vests than anything. I think I've hurt my ribs, my back, and my chest more than I've ever been close to hitting my head as often.
Yeah. I mean, I guess hitting your head has to be very specific.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could hit your face, it could
Yeah.
hit your neck, it
Yeah.
could hit your jaw.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess your brain area
It's definitely
is
the
probably the most important.
definitely the most important.
You know,
Yeah.
my face is the most important, obviously.
It's what pays the bills.
No, it's still my brain. It's still my brain. And then you don't wear a leash.
No.
So for freestyle, I get it.
Yeah.
Are the guys not wearing leashes? So I don't really pay attention. I'm just wondering, is that a trend? Is that how you do it?
I honestly
or-
don't know if they wear leashes or not. I would think not, because I just had a very bad experience where I jumped once, it fell off my feet, and then like you get that elasticity and that like bungee effect. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see as you're like falling, that your foil coming right back at you. So I immediately cut leashes off from surfing and winging.
Yeah. I think for the winging like freestyle, yeah, I don't think I'd wear a leash. I haven't paid attention to like what the guys are actually doing. I don't know if they're wearing a leash or not.
I don't know.
But anyway, they might be, because if they fall and the board gets away from them, it's valuable time
Yeah.
they heat,
Yeah.
you know, that they don't want to waste on, competing.
Yeah.
So I would assume maybe a leash gets you back to your board faster. If they're doing it in their free rides or not. Because the guys that are practicing in like Cliff River, this kid Chris McDonald.
Yeah.
That
He's
river,
insane.
that river's insane. Like
Yeah.
you lose your foil and your board, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I would say I'm less worried about your board hitting me
Yeah.
surfing or whatever, and more worried that your board's just going to take off and you're never going to catch it.
It's happened sometimes, especially in the surf. Just kind of have to use your wing to start going downwind, and kind of like, you just can't tire yourself. Like you have to know when you have that last stretch that you can swim to your board at, because it's just going to outpace you if you're just swimming nonstop towards it and you're dragging your wing. Yeah.
But I guess when you're surfing in the morning in Dorado, there's no wind, there's
Yeah.
waves, but it'll end up, eventually it stops at the end of the lineup. But when you come off foil, you've probably pumped already for
Exactly.
3 to 4 minutes and you're
Yeah.
exhausted. So then you're swimming after your board,
Exhausted.
gasping for air.
Screaming at your friend like, hey, Dylan, get my board.
I don't want to come off foil. Like, I'm enjoying the surf.
Just make eye contact, little finger, and
Yeah.
keep going.
I mean, if I had my foil drive back,
Yeah.
then no problem, my friend. But yeah, so I just think, I know for sure 100% if people are around, I'm in Loach or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta wear a leash.
yeah, for sure.
You know, and then if you're by yourself and you want to take that risk of it smashing into the rocks again, you know, one board gone, right?
Yeah,
One foil gone.
yeah.
You know, you chasing after your board, you might lose your board. You know, in the surf out there at the reef, you're a mile offshore.
Oh,
Like,
that reminded me of.
or just like, I would never. I mean, downwinding. Oh my God, man! If my
Yeah.
leash came off or I lost my board,
Goodbye.
gone,
Yeah.
done, dead.
Yeah, yeah.
like, there's no way I can catch it. There's a story of, I don't know if it was, which Florence it was, John, or what's Nathan, that they were prone downwinding, and it was like a big swell
Oh,
of
yeah.
10 foot or something at the reef, who knows what.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were proning, and they were like catching wave, and then he fell, and it got washed away, like no leash or
Yeah.
something, and it just starts going away, and he swam after it. And we're like,
That was probably John. Nathan's a good foiler.
I don't know who's better, to be honest, but
For sure, Nathan, I think.
yeah. But
And
anyway,
John
that
Don's
is just
sure.
something. That is something I would not
Yeah.
want to be doing out there. Is trying to chase down my downwind board. And it always, like, a memory pops back into my head that I was watching this video a long time ago. It was on Facebook, or whatever. And this couple went out to go surf the waves out of Hawaii or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're a ways offshore. There were
Yeah.
paddle boards, and the paddleboard, like they fell off the paddleboard, and the paddleboard just grabbed a little wave and just started to take off, you know, and swimming for it, another little wave, and it just like, and that's it. They could never get their board back, and it just like carried on down with the wind or with the waves, and
Oh, man.
I was in. I was like, damn, man, like imagine being out there and. Like,
Yeah,
and,
that
it was,
little
and it was a video to create awareness of like wear a leash when you go out there.
Yeah.
And this was a long time ago, and I was always like, damn. Like even when I would take the sup board,
Yeah.
supping out is flat. I
Yeah.
always take the leash because the last thing you want to do is be out there
And
and like not have your vessel anymore,
Yeah.
right?
No, for sure. I mean, for surfing, it kind of changes a little bit once you add straps onto the board because it gives you that little awareness of like, hey, if you lose your board, bro, like you're swimming, you know? So I use the straps like as my leashes type of thing.
It makes no sense.
The problem with the leash is that it gets in the way too often than not. And so
it's not.
if I'm doing
No perfect science to the leash, you know. But
well,
no.
you know, Roy's pretty close to it. No, I think like once you start, like if you're pretty confident in your proning abilities and you have straps, I think you can get away with it because in Laoch I've never lost my board there, like, and we've gone proning there a lot. And you know, if you're gonna fall, just try to hold on to those straps as best as you can with your foot or your hand or whatever, and hope to God you grab it.
That's how you hurt yourself.
Well, you understand that you can't push yourself to like the exact limits, but again, when I'm proning, I'm jumping and I'm doing stuff. So a leash for me.
It's not a big deal.
Dude, you remember
Make
when
it
I-
sound like this?
You remember when I started doing backflips?
Like this ball and chain?
Well.
It's anchoring you down. Like, who cares?
Think of it more like an octopus just grabbing you everywhere.
I know. I mean, it's like flippy floppy.
Yeah.
I understand, but I just feel so comfortable falling and being like, bruh, and then like reaching for my board and being like, pull it back.
I don't even remember the feeling. I'm even taking the leash off of my wings when I go freestyle.
What do you mean you're taking your wing?
You saw it the other day.
No, that was by accident.
Well-
you're not winging without a leash.
If my wing does not have a leash and I'm ready to go, I'm not putting a leash
That's
on
just
it.
privilege.
Yeah.
You can tell you're sponsored.
It's like it's like swimming naked, man. Like once you do it, you just don't want to go back.
Right. Don't go swimming with Arland.
It'll be a great time, I promise.
All right, enough about your horrible safety tips.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your non-downwinding journey.
My favorite part.
Because you're wanting to dabble
Yes.
a little bit.
It always piques my curiosity on like how everyone, it's just like everyone loves it from the moment they get up and do their first run. And I'm the only hater. I feel like I'm just all by myself.
Well,
Sergio's right next to me. But
Sergio,
yeah, I mean it.
oh, but he looks lazy.
He's just a winger. He just only wingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prone, and he just wings. He goes fast. He does jump straight in.
Like,
Jumps,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. He's fun. He's a fun wing partner to have.
Yeah.
Because he's like, it'll be super marginal and we're both in sinker board. He's like, fuck it, bro, let's go. Like, worst case scenario, we'll just swim back. Like, let's go. I'm like, just work 9 to 5.
Like, should I grab my 5 and my 4? He's
Yeah.
like, I have to play.
Yeah. Well, he
Good
only
good
rides,
downwind training for suffering.
Right.
Type 2 fun.
well, he only rides
Sinker.
specific gear because the moment he buys a new foil, he sells his old one. So he only has one foil, one wing, one board. Like 4 masts. But
I feel like that's the least important thing
Exactly.
to have more of.
well, he's got the lift, he's got no limits, he's got all these. So
That's what I'm trying to sell in the chat.
yeah.
So hopefully he does.
Well,
All right, and then it was last weekend. When did we do that downwinder together?
oh yeah, last weekend I think Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. I'll just check the ticket I got in my car.
Ouch. Yeah. $250 downwind.
I have $150 registered in my the app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they gave you one. Everyone was parked there.
Yeah.
I saw a couple tickets. It wasn't yellow.
We
There was
risked
no-
it. We risked
I was like, bro, we should just park in the parking lot.
Yeah, right.
I said, it's $20 or whatever it is. Like, just park there. He's like, no. It'll be fine. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Your car?
5 minutes right before that. Bro, trust me, I've never gotten a ticket here.
That's true.
I've never gotten a ticket here.
True, but then I
You
said,
could go into the parking, but I've never gotten a ticket here. Let's use the correct wording.
okay, context here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but it was funny that they gave you a ticket for the parking.
For on a
And
yellow
then-
line, no yellow line.
Right. And then parking the wrong way around.
on a one-way
On a
street.
one-way street.
Yeah, man, no. Puerto Rico is amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So we did that run. Logistics were long.
Yes.
That day. That was my longest
Plan.
setup
Yeah.
for a downwinder. 7 hours that downwinder took.
Holy shit.
From going to meet you in Dorado
Yeah.
to coming back and finally starting that run to finishing that run. And I
Wow.
know that because I'm like, damn, I got to get back to
Yeah,
Shadi
Shadi.
and the kids before like 4 o'clock. You know, so that
I
I
did
can
not make it at 4 o'clock.
4:20, 4:25.
Something like that.
Yes, 4:25. So I know that it was. I'm like, it can't take us 7 hours to do this.
Yeah.
You're a horrible.
No, I am horrible.
At
Yeah.
timing.
Well, we had to go stop at my house, get the gear, and
So-
then we had to stop.
So first it started out, great idea. You're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Great. I want to go all the way to Dorado, and we don't have taxis. We've got both of us have our cars.
Yeah.
I knew that you might not do it.
Yeah.
Like, let me meet you. You go surfing in the morning.
That was wise.
Right? Go surfing in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to meet you in a couple hours. I'm hanging out with the fam.
Yeah.
You get your session in. I met you in Dorado. You were not filming, you were winging.
Yeah.
Did a really good wing session.
It was awesome in the morning, yeah.
And so I left my car there, and then we both drove back
In my
and started to
the journey.
wrap up all your stuff that you wanted
Yeah.
to do, like what gear you wanted to ride, and your little coffee.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom.
And lunch.
And then lunch. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
No waterproof phone case.
Literally.
Stuff in the phone case. But then he ordered lunch, and I'm sitting here like, can you drive and eat at the same time? He's like, no, I need to sit down and eat my lunch. I was like, you're weird.
I'm not made for downwinding. I'm a logistics nightmare.
No, it's just you're single.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That helps.
you don't have to do anything.
No sense of urgency.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, no, so you're eating my lunch. I'm thinking 7 hours. I got so much.
Get back to my wife and kids.
Yeah. So we went to Caballos,
Yeah.
Piñones, and
So
that.
I did it on a wing. I did it on a wing.
let's be clear.
Yeah.
I was going to clear that up.
Yeah.
You took my North Downwind Foil,
Yeah.
which was a smaller one.
Yeah. Can we say what those?
I don't. I mean, I know that everyone knows that these North Downwind Foils are coming.
You know that I know that you know.
Yeah,
Let's leave it at that.
I'm just not gonna say like exact sizing
Yeah.
and specs. Like it
Okay.
doesn't really matter. You can say they're
So
gonna
the
come out with a
smallest one.
like
Yeah.
a 700 something. They're gonna come out with a 900 something. You know, specs to be
Yeah. Determined.
yeah. So you took my 700 something.
Yeah. So,
And-
so that was amazing, by the way,
Super
because
fun.
it's such a different feel to all the other foils. Like, it's so specific for that one sport. You know,
I
it's
was using it like 3-4 weeks ago. Remember when we went winging in Puntas?
Yeah.
That's the foil I was using, and I was getting some really high speeds.
Yeah.
It was so easy to get up on, like
Yeah.
just the range of those foils
Yeah.
are crazy.
That's-
from any brand, the people that are putting out these downwind foils, they've got to have this like crazy weird like low end,
Yeah.
so you can pop it up, and then it's got to have a
Glide.
immense amount of glide, and then you want to top speeds because
Yeah.
like wow, you're like, yeah. So you want the slowest foil ever, you want the fastest foil ever, you want it to stay on foil
Yeah.
at those speeds, maybe. You know,
What
it's like,
engineering
yeah.
there,
You're like, here you go, design this foil for you,
Yeah.
sir. And Lily's like, what?
Yeah.
So they've done a really good job with that. So you rode that, you took your downwind board
Yeah.
and your 3.5 meter Nova Pro.
Yeah.
And I took my code foil set out, the 860, and that run is 21 miles.
Yeah.
Which is my longest run yet, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I was super stoked to do it. When we got started, I was unsure if you were going to do the whole thing because it's not as fun doing it with a wing.
Yeah.
It's still fun and it's good practice, right? It's essentially you're kind of leaning towards wanting to get into downwinding now, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was a good like first kind of step.
It gave me a great idea on why it is that you guys like it so much. You know, I mean, I was a little impaired with the wing.
Yeah.
Be able to go
A little
full downwind.
a lot.
Yeah, but I did have a few minute runs, and just even by changing those foils, because when we started downwinding, like we were using not the right foils. You know, we were using surf foils, or you were using like high aspect foils.
Fast foils.
Yeah, so you know,
Top end only.
it never really felt that easy to like ride through the bumps. But with this 7-1, it was amazing.
Yeah. It's the only foil I'm taking to Hawaii.
Yeah,
So
you should look for a smaller one.
maybe. So that I was trying to figure out like an alternative route to get out over the rocks, and
Yeah.
Gio's like, "Don't worry, there's not a lot of sea urchins. You just walk over. They're big ones. You can look out and then go through." And I guess I couldn't find anything.
right
There's like
spot.
so many baby sea urchins everywhere. I was so close to dive for it, but it was so shallow, and I was like, I'm gonna
eat
mess
it,
myself up trying to paddle 15 minutes less
Yeah.
than what I normally do because I think this is the shortcut, and I know I was in the wrong spot. And I told you, I'm like, go out there. You're gonna have to get a head start because I'm below and past.
Yeah.
There's just no way you can keep up with the wing.
Yeah.
You know, going downwind unless you're using the wing full time, full tilt.
Yeah.
So there's no way that we're
Yeah.
hanging out in the same space. But I assumed we'd hang out in a little bit of the same space.
I would've-
You've got so much mobility,
Yeah.
Arland. So he takes it to heart. He's like, bye. Okay.
Yeah, at the moment, like you were still walking towards that like shortcut, and I got on foil. I was like, okay,
Bye.
yeah.
And so I'm looking out, I'm like, okay, I'm paddling out. It's about a 15-20 minute paddle out for
Yeah.
me to get to the wind line,
Yeah.
or at least the bumps.
Just go.
And I start paddling out there, and I'm looking around, I'm like, where is this guy? And I look down to the buoy, and I look way past him, like, you're way out there.
That's where
Like,
I
was like, yeah. I mean, you're out there, yeah,
Yeah.
but you're way downwind.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he's already pretty far. So I get out there, I get up on foil, and I start making my way. And I look in, and I'm like, I can't find you anywhere.
Yeah.
I think there's no way. I didn't know if you thought I was maybe ahead or I was behind. You probably
I never knew where you
have
were.
no idea. And I'm like, bro, how we gonna like
Have fun
have,
together.
I don't know. I know that downwinding's kind of like that. It's always
Yeah, yeah.
been like that. I just thought because you had the wing, you were so mobile
Yeah.
that there would be some kind of a meetup, you know,
Yeah.
or a, you know, me seeing, not seeing.
Yeah, like, oh, there's Dylan.
Oh, hey, dude.
Yeah.
And I see you in putas, like playing around with your friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, as I was passing by, way offshore, you're way in there, just hanging
Yeah.
out. I was like, well, I guarantee. At that moment, I was like, there's no way Arland's doing the downhill.
The
Like
full-
he's done. He's
he's
like,
done after
he
3
did.
miles.
He did 4 miles. He's like, I'm done with this. I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And I'm doing jumps. But you're on the downhill.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no. I was like, oh.
I was fully committed the moment I left my car there. I was like, okay, we're gonna send it.
And I did. I fell a couple times.
I didn't see you.
I was doing the Instagram live.
Oh.
So I turned on the Instagram live and I was like with my phone and I was like, watch this.
Yeah.
It was like I watched the live after. It's still up on my reels. Hilarious that somebody would watch that. It's
Yeah.
shaky and
Just
disgusting.
all
Oh yeah.
just looking at your
Just
feet.
my feet.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like I'm
look
going
there.
fast.
And then like it turned to my face and it zoomed in, so it's like just my nostril, you know, for like a little bit. Anyway, so I fell there a couple times, which was fun, and then I still made that 21 miles in like an hour and 20 minutes,
Yeah.
23 minutes, and I was super stoked. I had some really great times. I had a lot of fun. It was super hot,
Yeah, it was.
super hot. And then as I was getting close, you called me. And you're like, "Damn,
Where
you're
are you?"
really far up there, but I don't really know where I am."
Exactly.
I was like, so he's coming. And then when we got to the truck, you said, "That's horrible."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the wing, it just wasn't as fun because I was
So
just
the next like 35 minutes, you continuously told me how stupid that is
yeah.
and how you don't understand why we do it and you don't see where the fun comes from. So your tone just changed the second. ago.
Well, when you compare it, because I was doing the downwind and the wing,
Yeah.
so like when you have both of these, it's like, man, I just prefer to just do the wing. Like if I was winging right now, I'd be jumping and I'd be doing this and I'd be doing that, but I'm here just trying to go on a straight line, and it was like, it feels like downwinders are like marathon runners. So you have to enjoy like the whole journey and the whole process of it. And I don't know if I'm ready for that because honestly, I'm more of a instant satisfaction type of guy. I don't even like parking like, if I'm going to a spot, I'm parking at the spot, and I'll just park there, go right out, come back in, try to avoid getting any sand on my gear, and I'm done. This whole like, gotta leave your car down here, and then we'll drive back up here, and then we can go through this, and then over here, and then by this time, blah, blah, blah. It's like a mission.
Yeah, I think it comes to you being single for too long.
Probably.
Let me get out my notepad and write some things down. Arland, how do you feel about it? You're so into doing your own thing
Yeah.
that when it starts to get outside of what you want to do, you start to get like a little bit
100%. 100%.
weird. So you kind of have to let yourself
I
go.
become hesitant. I become hesitant, and it's like, like,
You know,
this looks
too
like a
many
headache.
options.
Yeah, this looks like a headache. I just want to go do this. This is like therapy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're gonna be a downhill by the end of this. I'm just getting started.
Didn't John call you?
Huh?
John from John Breaks Bad News.
Oh, yeah. That is so funny.
That was awesome.
There's this, so I don't know if you guys know, there's this guy on Instagram, his name's John. His account's called John Breaks Bad News.
And
he
John
just-
without the H. Jon.
John Breaks Bad News. And he just calls, I guess, whatever. You
Yeah,
gave a
he just-
donation and said, call this guy and say this thing.
Yeah.
And he calls up people, so he calls me. It's this weird number, it says Korea or something. I guess he's calling from Skype.
Yeah.
I answered, I'm like, hey, KitePuertoRico. He goes, hey, is this Dylan? I'm like, yes. He goes, hi, this is John. This is from John Breaks Bad News. I've got some bad news for you. And I'm like, oh. I got some bad news from you from Arland. I was like, go ahead. He's like, I do not want to downwind with you. I don't know what it was exactly. He was like, hey, I'm happy it makes you happy, it makes me miserable.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And this was before you did that downwind.
Literally, yeah.
So it took him like, what, 3 weeks to get this
Something like that, yeah.
And I started to like, you know, talk back to him to make it
funny,
you know, to try to make it funny or whatever. And I'm like, well, you call him. And he's like, I don't even know how to call him, and I don't know what downwinding is. Like just very straight to his job.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to go off topic.
He only breaks bad news.
Just breaks the
bad.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I wish I recorded it.
Just trying to be creative at letting my friends down.
So, what went through your head the first time you did that downwinder with me, with that Axis gear? We did a run from Highlands
to Ocean Park.
Yeah. First, I've done many before, but it was your first one.
The first thought.
This is a year ago.
Yeah. The first thought that passed through my mind when we started is, this guy really fucking left me here. You just booked it. You just like.
Well, I was still learning. You know?
Yeah, because it was like your third or fourth or fifth downwind run.
7th, 8th.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude. I had been putting in some time.
Yeah, and I was kind of slacking, and I was like, okay, finally, we're gonna do this thing together. And you were like super pumped, and I'm like, okay, awesome, yeah, he's gonna kind of help me break down my form and everything, and we're just gonna float together and have fun, blah, blah, blah. The moment we like finished struggling through that 15-minute paddle, I'm gassed.
Struggling?
I was gassed, bro.
That's like the intro.
I know, I was gassed. And then at that point, I was like, okay, we're just gonna take a chill, we're gonna get a few runs. Just start paddling, got up on foil, and just left me. And I just watched you just slowly go smaller and smaller into the horizon.
Probably one of my best runs that I had so far.
Yeah, it
and
was.
I fell a bunch, and I got up a bunch, and I struggled a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you weren't a lot behind me.
I think I got up once.
You were probably so that run when I don't get up on foil at the very beginning, it was taking me like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it's like 4 miles.
About 4.5 miles, and you're like into the bay. So
Yeah,
it starts to get flat on the inside, which was horrible. Yeah, then you're like paddling back, crosswind, whatever. And yeah, when I was not getting up on foil, I can see this on my phone. Like it's like an hour and 25 minutes. Hour 45, I think, was the longest, that I did. And then as you start to get on foil, that like then you just chop off time. Like you go out and you go half a mile on foil, you just cut off 20 minutes of your paddling time.
Yeah, that's insane.
And exhaustion. So you came in probably 25, 30 minutes after me, which isn't horrible, which means that if you only got up on foil once, it means I probably got up on foil 3-4 times, right? And it was one of my better runs, and I was kind of excited about it. And I was excited that you finally did a run, and I'm waiting for you. And it was the worst experience of our friendship ever.
This is fucking horrible.
And you come out, but you didn't even say anything. You're like, hurry up, I think I'm late, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, bro. I'm like,
give some feedback.
I'm like, just hold on a second, how was it? He's like, no, let's go. I thought you'd probably be in the car and bring my car already by now. What are you doing?
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Afterwards, you were like, bro, I thought if you were here so long ago, you'd already, have your shit packed up. I'm just waiting here. And then you didn't talk to me for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, don't say that. Probably like 2 days.
No, it was 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks of like, you were just like, you're like, I need some space.
Leave me alone. Let me wing.
Is it because you were so sad that I was better than you in that moment? Or you were frustrated that you just don't want to go through that kind of suffering and we were enjoying it so much? Or
no, it definitely wasn't the first one because I remember when we went out to the waves, I was still slightly better than you. So that made me happy.
Like just
supping on the waves.
Supping on the waves. Yeah, but you're a really good foiler.
That's all I need.
You'd be an amazing downwinder if you just enjoy that.
Enjoy the
that
sun.
Type 2 fun for a minute.
Type 2 fun?
Yeah. Yeah, well.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so I've got these big fat downwind foils.
Yeah.
Pretty monstrous ones that
That's the ones that really motivate me.
Yeah.
The ones where you just do 2 pumps.
It's still not that easy. Gear does make a huge
Yeah.
difference, right? The gear that we were on,
Was more
like from the very beginning, you decided to buy a smaller downwind board because
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I'll just get the 100 liter.
Yeah.
And I got the 110 liter or whatever. You got the 7.7 or 7.6. I got the 8 foot, and I mean, it just makes a huge difference going into it having the right gear.
Yeah.
The foils that we're using, 1450 high aspect, like they're very fast foils.
Yeah.
From North, and they didn't have that like low pick up and go. Like they get up and go, and once they're gliding, they're pretty fast, and they were good when I was able to pop myself up. But to get to that point was really tough on those foils. If I had these foils,
Oh, for sure.
I know that my runs would have been cut in half,
Yeah.
like for sure.
Yeah.
Like just looking at them, knowing how I ride that 7 beep, I know that the beep will be so easy to get up on foil with these. And I mean, that's like, I'm not just saying these new North ones. And there's going to be a lot more North talk in this because you're sponsored by North, right? Locally, but you're a good image for them, and we do sell a lot of North gear thanks to you. But rip on it. Then I'm gonna ask.
Great equipment too.
All right, I've got a question here from Fabian.
Hey, okay.
From North as well.
Yes, sir.
How can you be so handsome?
Oh, such a tough question to answer. I just try to look up to my North idols like him and Chucho. Just try to look pretty.
Let's go to some downwind ones.
You don't like that one?
No, that's a good one. It's a good one, but it's very unfoil related.
Oh. Probably my favorite.
Because we're on topic right now.
Yeah.
All right, Jose Foil says, yes, why no sup foils, brother?
Well, I mean, I think we kind of went over it. It was just a very frustrating process. Even then, the only reason I'm somewhat motivated to try again is watching Jose, Juango, like all these guys, and Luquillo, like go and get after it. And I love Juango's attitude about it because it's like every day,
like fail,
pass or fail. He will let you guys know if he had a horrible or a great run, and that's kind of like the essence of foiling from my aspect. Like, you want to create this like community of accepting people and man, today was a shitty day, so but it happens.
Yeah. And
I admire him a lot for that.
So Giovanni says, when you're putting down that wing and grabbing a paddle, right? Are you not in shape to downwind or just afraid? That's from Eric Pro.
Back.
I'm just reading all the downwind ones.
Yeah.
I knew those were coming.
Yeah.
So, to touch up on that community thing and you and like, you want to go to the spot, you want to go in session, and you want to that's it, right?
Yeah.
So what happened with that first run we did? We paddled out together. The paddle out together is fine. Like I chit-chat with the guys and whatever. It's 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We get out there, we huddle up, we put our heads together. We do this little long, no, I'm just kidding. So we just some people are faster at paddling, depends on what board they've got.
Yeah.
Like the long skinny ones, they're faster, and there's better paddlers not. So we end up getting out there, and nobody waits too long.
Yeah.
But they'll sit down on the board, they'll know we're far enough out, somebody will be in, whatever. We kind of look at each other and we're like, yeah, are you ready? We're like, yeah, I'm ready. I'll start going. At least we kind of get up and start going at the same point. So eventually we've got a point within the run where we could connect. And the last run I did with the boys, all these guys, because I put up my sprinter van.
Yeah.
What the guy from C. Kindly was doing.
Yeah.
Mikey, he was offering up his van, getting a driver. So I put up the van, had a driver, and we all piled in the van.
Yeah.
So it made logistics a lot easier.
Yeah.
It was super cool. And it was Randy, Mike, Jose, Rafki, Juango, and I.
Yeah.
Right? So 6 of us. And they're all everybody's a beginner.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the cool part about the downwinding is doing all of these logistics.
Yeah.
Because when you just go winging with somebody, like you go with Sergio, how many words have you said to Sergio when you guys go winging? Like, do you guys hang out?
Well,
You
like
guys set up
the
gear
before and
stuff?
after, you know, like we're setting up. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Like, you want to go over here? You want to go over here? You want to ride this way? Let's go down over here.
Yeah. So we're kind of like, we're stuck in a van together for
Sounds horrible. I'm just kidding.
like 35, 40 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes, maybe less. And I don't know, what gear are you picking? It's a little bit more crucial
Yeah.
than winging, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of chatter about it. These guys are learning, so there's a lot of like tech
Questions,
tips that
yeah.
that don't help anybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, it is very community driven. Who's at the door? Yeah, so it is very community driven, which is
Yeah.
really cool, and I like that aspect of it a lot. Because I go out and kite, yeah, hang out with the kiters, go to a launch spot, you know, everyone's kind of gathered there.
Yeah.
Winging's a little bit more scattered. The surfing thing, yeah, we'll meet up in the water, we're kind of hanging out a little bit more
Yeah.
together versus winging. So there's, all these sports have their different little attributes of what it feels like to be with your buddy in
Yeah.
session together. The downwinding for sure, when you're on the water, especially because we're all so different levels, it feels like, yeah, you're left. You know?
Yeah, alone. Yeah.
But when there's a lot of like before and after, you know, like afterwards and before,
Yeah.
and it's all this meet up and chat about it, which is just super cool.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you would enjoy a little bit.
Well, I mean, eventually I'll have to get on that bus and try to just man it out. Just waiting for North to come out with their lineup.
They're downwind, yeah, which is now.
And that, you know, I see that, and I think, wow, I can pretty much pump that up. You know? Like, I feel like I could,
Well, let's go.
especially after using the beep and that last run. It was awesome. I'm just saving you editing time.
I don't even know how to have that button. Surge face.
That's Sergio, yeah.
Is that Sergio?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He says,
The FedEx man.
how do you say I'm in love with a stripper in Japanese?
I don't know. I don't know how to say
How do you say I'm in love in Japanese?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
I don't know how to
All
use
that Duolingo going to
Yeah.
wait.
I'll get Tomo to help me out.
Funny. Let me just open them all up. So many. There's not a lot. Oscar says, when is the front flip landing?
Well, that one's a little bit more extreme than the ones I'm used to. So that one, I would definitely use a helmet. It's also got to be nuking. Like the other day I realized, like trying those 720s, the wind condition makes it so much more easier to do those types of
When it's really windy.
harder maneuvers. Yeah, because it's just, it helps you.
Helps
So-
you spin around.
And I feel like
Sure.
that front loop or the front spin is like highly dependent on that wing, like the wind and, you know, changing that angle.
Are you watching tech tips and stuff? Or you're just
Honestly,
watching like,
I've been watching Fabian, bro. He's like master at it.
what is really good?
Yeah.
Are you competing in this last competition, the GKA or the World Foil?
I
Tour?
want to say yes, but I'm not sure. I know that Chucho was.
He was in Spain. I mean, he's from Spain.
Yeah, he's Tarifa.
Yeah, no, it's in Gran Canaria.
Wow. He knows a lot of Tarifa.
Um,
I'll let you know once I come back from visiting that.
Oscar says, what do you think about the new North Team rider? That's him.
Oh,
I texted him like 4 days ago and I'm like, bro, like sell all your Armstrong stuff. I'll
Yeah.
let you use whatever you want from North. Just make sure you stay on that stuff because he's grabbing all my wings.
yeah.
You know,
He's
like,
using
"Bro,
them.
I love that boat." Oh, he's like, man, I need it. And I'm like, dude, you work for me. You're
He's a great
do
athlete.
it all.
He's a
You
great
surf,
athlete.
you kite. He's doing like big air stuff.
Yeah.
With the foil kiting.
Yeah.
And
So sketchy.
yeah, and like not very strong wind. He's hitting like 10 meters or something. I'm like, man, I should start jumping with the foil. Like,
Yeah.
I did it once, and you can go so fast
Yeah.
with the foil and like send yourself so high. I've never jumped with a foil on a kite. I can send big jumps on a
Yeah.
kite, but I've never done it with a foil. And I felt it one day. I was strapless.
Yeah.
And I was like loading myself. I'm like, damn. I'm like,
This is-
dude, it's not very windy, and I feel lit on this 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it. So I sent it. The board was left behind.
Yeah.
But
Thank God.
but it felt like like the amount of air you can get would be crazy.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he's doing really cool stuff like that. And I tried to get him on the podcast. He's like, I'm not good in front of the cameras, bro.
I'm
like,
same here, man. That's where they have.
I'm just so easy to
Yeah,
talk to.
yeah, I'm just trying to talk to you. Just like a normal
Anyway.
Monday morning conversation.
Connor says, why did he look better riding lift?
I never looked better riding lift, actually. I never had a full lift gear. It was always, a Frankenstein foil setup for those times.
Frankie. I mean, most people are Frankensteining it out.
It's
You had a no limits mask. You had that 120
Katie
with the
tail.
long fuse with the Katie tail.
Foil
Yeah, we were all
parts.
like, yeah,
Foil parts back
we
fuse.
were all,
Yeah,
all messed up. Yeah.
yeah.
But no, I think you do look honestly a lot more comfortable and better.
Oh,
on,
for
on
sure.
what you're riding now.
For sure. And the other thing I've noticed is that every time I've gotten like the newest gear from North or whatever, my progression has just increased that much more. The first foil that you got me on was that 930 SF when they just introduced that SF lineup. It completely changed my whole game.
Yeah.
For like surfing specifically. Before that, we were riding
It's
those,
much slower, right?
and the pump and the carving. It was amazing. Yeah. For that point, I was almost getting sick of those high aspect wings.
Yeah, I remember we were going towing.
That was
We were
horrible.
towing the 90
Yeah.
aspect, and you're always like, "Let's tow the 100 surf.
Yeah.
I don't want to ride these high aspect
Exactly.
things anymore."
Yeah, and
you're right.
And North just combined the high aspect and those low aspects and just made something between that mid aspect range. And for me, it was like,
Oh man, did you hear they're coming out with a?
oh my god, really? Yeah. And there's
some nice ones coming.
yeah, and their new fuse that beep is also coming out. Excited for that. It's their new fuse. You didn't hear?
Oh,
You didn't
okay.
hear about the beep?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A mid-size.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're coming out with a middle size, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
60 short, 70s long. Same what Armstrong did. They had a 60.
Yeah.
Kind of their standard, and that's what North standard was.
Yeah,
And then their packs started coming standard with the 70,
yeah,
the 700 mil, whatever, 70 centimeter,
yeah.
which is pretty standard in the industry, considered long, and I like it.
I
That's
love
what I ride. But the one that's coming out in the middle will be
Yeah,
super sick.
yeah,
And then they just came out with their high modulus mast, which I was super excited to try the other day on a downwinder. So I came into the shop real quick.
yeah.
I was offering off my bus again, had a driver, picked up the boys and flowed.
Yeah.
And luckily, my whole foil setup, I just left it in my van. So I'm like, I know that next run I'm going to use the van.
Yeah.
I just left everything in there, and I came to the shop real quick, and I grabbed a high modulus mast,
The 80?
which I thought was the 80. And so I was looking at the boxes, I'm like, yes, and I grabbed it from the van. I got there, and I was about to set up my foil,
Okay.
and I looked, I'm like, 85.
Oh, no.
I knew that it could have been possible.
Yeah, but
there,
still.
but I didn't want to open up a new mast,
Yeah,
take it off my shelf and make it used, have to sell it for discounts. I'm like, nah. As excited as I was to like try it for the
No.
first time, because I have not tried this 80.
that one. Did I take your 80? That was the only one that you got? or-
No, I had.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to grab one for me, one of them
Yeah.
for me. You ordered an 85, took the 80.
Oh, right, I did. That's why I love you. It's like
Hold on. I got another question.
even though I make mistakes in gear and
This is from Kat. Kat, what's your favorite thing about Dylan? It's a great question.
that is a
It's a good segue. to that
amazing,
question.
yeah, amazing question. So, other than him being one of my best friends,
When you're not downwinding.
when I'm not downwinding, the way that he takes care of not just me but everyone that buys gear from you is completely, it's almost borderline insane. Because sometimes I ask myself, it's like, how does he make money? Because you're just
I
always you're always just trying to help people stay in the water. And I've had a bunch of cases where I'm like, Dylan, like, I made this mistake, I broke this, like, It's like, oh, use my board, or use my foil, like, just go in the water, like, go have fun, tell me about it later. You know, and that's something that you don't really see that often in at least in Puerto Rico, you know, where you're just pretty much keeping off the merch, like, you know, go use it and then give it back and tell me how you like it or not. And for me, that's just priceless, you know, because me missing a day in the water because I don't have a screw, or, you know, like I need to sand down my foil or something like that, and it's like, I always know that you've got me covered. That's why you're like,
Yeah.
speed dial.
Yeah, the other day, Misha said I was crazy because this guy came in, he had his wing was leaking,
Yeah.
the duotone. We ordered a new bladder and fixed it, and he had it fine, and it started leaking. So I had to warranty the bladder for him, and he has no wing.
And you don't even deal with dual.
I don't even deal with duotone. Didn't really make any money off of ordering the new bladder for him,
Yeah.
replacing it for him. And I felt so bad that he didn't have that wing because of the warranty bladder.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, just come in and grab a Mode Pro, you know? So he came in.
Oh, he told me about that.
Yeah.
I went to session with him. He was like, oh, it's
Alex.
yeah, Alexis.
Alexis.
Yeah, yeah. He told me, he was like, yeah, I got this this Mode Pro from Dylan, but he never told me about the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just because I felt bad that, I mean, the bladder's being shipped now. It should arrive tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to take us another day to take out the bladder, replace it. And I was like, well, just take this. And selfishly on the back end, I hope he likes the Mode Pro more than his duotone. Right?
Probably will.
So there's always a win-win in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, still, it's like, you know, the dual tone rep here didn't do that whole thing that you did.
Well,
and
he probably bought it online. That's why people should not buy their stuff online.
True.
You know?
True.
Unless it's from me.
Yeah.
Unless you're buying coat foils.
Yeah.
And there's no one else to get it to. No,
Well, I mean, you just act fast as well. You know, if anyone needs anything, you're the first one to be like, hey, you know, I don't have it, or I have it, I can figure it out.
I'll
Like,
ship things out like right away,
Yeah.
firsthand. I mean, that's why I haven't had my foil drive kit.
Yeah.
That's why for a while I didn't have any coat foils to
Yeah.
ride, was because
you
I
just sell them all.
I sold off all my stuff.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm ordering a board from
From Frank?
From Frank in
Yeah.
Hawaii. It's because I want to order something for me
Yeah, that you can't sell.
that I can't sell.
Yeah.
Right? Eventually I could sell it. But what happens is I always get left with, you know, I've got all these toys, which is amazing, and yes, but sometimes I'm just left with the leftovers.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to make sure everyone gets what they want. Like, oh, I don't have that, but I've got it as a demo, and it's my demo, but then they can't buy it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, here it is, and I have to wait for it to arrive. But
Yeah,
it was
and get
really,
another demo.
the demo is really my foil.
Yeah.
And then I can't
Yeah.
ride it, and then it's over. So I didn't have a foil drive kit for a while because someone needed the motor pod, and then they
Yeah,
wanted a
yeah.
15-inch cable, and then they needed the screws, you know, that long screw. So I gave them my screws, and I had like
Nothing.
I was like,
yeah,
nothing.
a
I was like,
complete
oh
set
my
now.
gosh.
Yeah.
And then the same with the downwind boards, you know. So I'm ordering the downwind board solely because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And also I really wanted something for me that I don't feel enticed to sell
Yeah.
and me to be left without it.
Well, it's such a specific board too,
Yeah.
and it's made for what you want.
Yeah.
Like it's your dins.
It's going to say Dylan's board on the side. Do not touch.
Mr. Schufelt.
But, I don't think I had any more questions,
That's it.
unfortunately. I had a whole sheet, you know, that I printed out,
Yeah.
and a little bit of like tips, which I left on the table over there.
It's too far away.
I'm like, what are we going to, like, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
too much, apparently. I was like, let's just make this a nice, like, snippet, short one. We're an hour and 10 minutes in,
Oh wow.
and I still feel like I haven't even talked to you about
Maybe we
anything.
haven't. We've just been shooting shit, talking about my feelings at downwinding.
Yeah. So I just want to like finish with this then.
Yeah.
It's like if you were going to go to a desert island,
Yeah.
what would be the equipment that you would take? You can
Let's-
only,
let's
only
talk-
take.
Let's talk about the high modulus mast first, because I wrote that this weekend and it's insane. So, we.
But let me talk first because I know a lot more about North than you do, although you're a team rider.
100%.
Their first carbon mast, which was their first production carbon mast, was from the get-go. It is
High modulus.
No, it's pre-prank carbon. It's not high modulus.
Okay.
But their layout and how they did it, it is really stiff.
Yeah.
For being a carbon mass, it's not like this first gen carbon mass. It is a really good mass.
Yeah.
It's stiff. It's stiffer than a lot of the mass that come out high modulus, old name.
Oh, there was a graph. Like
Yeah,
they did testing on it, like a stress test, like a bend
Yeah,
test and all
it was
that.
like a certain test. So
Yeah.
They only tested one way. They didn't test the twist. They didn't test. I think there's a lot of different tests that they could do to clarify
Yeah.
what is better or not better.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily. Also, it could be that stiffer in a certain mass is not better than another mass because they made it so thick and slow.
Yeah.
And whatever. So the mass that you have been riding is actually really good.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like you're making a compromise to buy a carbon mass that's
No.
not a high modulus. But
And they knew it when they picked out their sizing too.
yeah. So when you do want a little bit of an upgrade, this new HM, this high modulus, is definitely a lot better from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I talked to all the guys.
Yeah.
They're team riders, so they're biased, right? But
Yeah.
they are very honest in their opinion
And
of what
they're very
equipment they're
tuned
riding.
on the gear that they're riding.
So tell me about it a little bit.
Well, that's freaking awesome. Like, so I got the 80 centimeter mast.
By the way, when I measured the 85 high modulus to the 85 non-high modulus, their carbon mass, it's like half an inch shorter.
The new one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wide. I measured them, I weighed them on the new scale I got.
Yeah.
Both exactly the same
Yeah.
weight. So this new high modulus is not heavier,
Exactly.
but
It's different.
it's different, but it is also like half an inch shorter. I don't know why. Because I measured it, it's not even a true 85.
Oh, really?
Neither is this. They're like it's like an 86 something, that's like an 86.7, so
Okay.
they're like, all these mass are just like, they're just rounded.
Yeah.
Like,
To
the-
keep numbers simple.
like the no limits, I have no idea how
Yeah.
they measure them. So I think I've read their website a couple times, but I
Yeah.
still don't understand. Like the 72 is, I measured it the other day with a code adapter on it. It ended up being a 75.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
With the adapter.
Well, it's not an adapter. That's just how it's made,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, with the
The
code fitting on it
yeah.
was like 75. So it's always longer.
Okay.
I guess they're measuring from
Like above plate to below.
above plate to below
Yeah.
fitting, which I don't know, it's strange. I guess that's where it sits,
Yeah.
where it bottoms out, right?
Yeah.
So it is different, right? So if you look at that cone one, look at how thick that
Yeah.
plate, that top fitting is, right?
Yeah.
Versus how
How slim it is.
slim the north one
Yeah.
is. That geolock is a lot slimmer. So where does it sit flat to the bottom, right? Versus the top, right? I guess that makes a difference,
Yeah.
but that's where it stops.
These are all great questions for Uli. Whenever you have him on the podcast.
Yeah. Moving to the north, the designer for the
He's
foil,
the magician
and for other things. Yeah.
behind the scenes. So
What'd you
yeah,
feel?
the 80 was awesome. We used to ride No Limits, and No Limits had these like wonky sizes right in between what we were used to. So it made me go back to that a little bit in terms of just the sizing. It's longer than my surf one, but shorter than what I used to wing at, and it's just the perfect combination for like surfing and freestyle because you can get up off the water with that front wing, but the re-entry, since it's just a little smaller than that 85, it's a little bit more chill to get on it. And I never noticed the flex on the mast when you're hitting the bottom turns.
Yeah.
It's just like so dialed in. It was insane.
Like no delay, just so
No
direct.
no delay. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, it just made it. the
And did you
whole
feel like a speed difference, like you were slower on it, or because it is like at the base, the cord of it
Yeah.
is thicker, but it's just so tapered.
I honestly didn't really notice it. Yeah, I noticed more just the turning capabilities and the better response in terms of like the pump.
Yeah. So you've broken boards,
The broken
You've
boards.
broken fuses.
Yeah.
You've never broken a front wing.
I've never broken a front wing.
You've never broken a mast.
Never broken a mast.
So, assumably you'll never break one of these masts either.
I hope not. And honestly, I don't think I will. I'll probably break the front wing before.
I mean, breaking gear is going to happen.
For sure.
Put it-
Well,
you
especially
ride
when you
it-
don't ride.
You ride it as much as we ride this. If you don't ride it.
You're bound to hit some
It's so
rocks.
silly, dude. The amount of times like I see your board like
Just
the next day and I'm like,
ghost
"Oh,
riding?
Why? Why does it have a big hole in the front? Like, can you not like put your handle through it or
Yeah.
like not slam into the back of your car or
I've never
whatever
slammed it
you're
in the
doing."
car. I've only hit my body against it.
Oh, is that how you broke it?
Yeah. That was bad. Yeah, that rib shot. That was bad.
Rip shot.
But
Right.
yeah. So desert island setup.
Damn, I was about to like cancel, like, done. Goodbye, folks. It's time for another Michelada.
Yeah. If I had to pick,
So one board, one mast, obviously.
yeah.
One foil, and one wing.
So I would go like for my disciplines in terms of winging and proning, I would take the 410. It's a 42-liter board, so anywhere between like 40 and 45 liters. I would take that board. Maybe anything between 4.6 and 4.10. I would take the 80 mast for sure, and then for the foil, I would go somewhere between like an 830. 8:30 to go on the more,
Chill side.
yeah, yeah.
Still fast enough, still good for surfing.
The carb's great, pump's great.
That's
It
the
has
XF.
enough lift to get you up and going on
Yeah.
the lighter days. So
I mean, let's be honest, that 930, do you even have a 930 anymore?
I don't have it.
Right? Because you don't need it.
No.
Like that 930 was amazing,
Yeah.
and it would still be really good. If you wanted all the foils, then yeah, sure. But you just completely got rid of that, gave it to your photographer.
Yeah. Big mistake.
Big mistake.
Lost that photographer.
Yeah. But getting friend,
Yeah. Don't make the same mistake, guys.
Yeah. And yeah, you have the 830,
Yeah.
680,
80. Yeah.
and the 10,
1080.
1080.
And anytime it's just super light wind, I might rock the bigger
1080.
seat board.
Oh,
and
the big one.
yeah, like
But you're on a desert island.
50, exactly. Yeah.
Still forget that.
Yeah, I would forget it on a heartbeat. If that desert island had waves and some wind, I'd be happy with the setup I'm taking.
Yeah, we could talk about a bunch of shit, but I don't really want it to turn into a commercial.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
stoked that you are riding north and riding with us because they take care of us.
And
big
not
time.
only that, it's just like I'm super stoked just to be able to have the opportunity to represent them, at whatever capacity that I have. All the guys there, Eric, Mike, Uli, like they're all such great guys and very like attentive to what I think. I'm almost like a nobody. So every time they make me feel special, like, hey Arland, like, like we would like your input in this, or what did you feel like when you wrote that, or like we're gonna take care of you in this way. It's just huge. It feels like a family more than just
Yeah,
like,
when you post something and they private message you, you're like, damn, like such a big company and such good care.
The first day I signed up with them, Mike gave me a call. It's like the CEO of the whole company. I'm like,
Yeah,
how does he?
brand director? Yeah,
How does he have time
He
to
doesn't.
call someone?
He
Exactly,
doesn't.
exactly. But I appreciate that type of stuff.
which he just had something. I don't know what exactly happened, but he was in the hospital for
Almost a month.
almost a month in
Yeah.
Portugal because
Yeah.
he was at the dealers
Yeah.
meeting with
That was
North
pretty
team
scary.
and everything, and it was like them paddling out in the water and kind of crazy
Yeah.
experience from the whole North team and I mean super stoked that he's okay.
Yeah.
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 And that he's out of the hospital now and stuff. So what a great guy, but he needs to stop working so much.
Yeah.
Stop calling like tiny little team riders in Puerto Rico, which should not be on your mind,
Exactly.
Go eat some ice cream.
Yeah, enjoy life. Well, he's got that motto right now, and it's awesome to see, you know, when people like they teach, especially older gentlemen like him, you know, they teach us.
You were very careful
Yeah.
with what you just said there, right?
Technically my boss, right?
No, like, when you're at that age, you know, when you're not so young. Wait, when you're an older gentleman, you're like, how do I say this without being a jerk?
So, yeah, it's awesome to see like the older generation kind of teaching down to us. It's like, this is what's really important. You know, I've lived my life and I've been this type of person, and you can be whatever, you know. In Mike's case, he worked very hard in this industry that's not easy to work in. And, you know, after all these years and all his experiences, his biggest takeaway from this one incident is, hey, you know, life is precious. Enjoy it as much as you can, you know. Find something that you love to do, yeah, but don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So very inspirational.
Yeah, and when something happens, or I mean, I go through a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, things going great, things not going great.
It's life.
Stress and money and too many foils to ride. You know, whatever.
I don't think that's ever an issue. That's
But
a good problem to have.
But yeah, it's always comes back to like, well,
Yeah.
what is the most important? And that's why I'm in this industry still and so long, is because it does give me so much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and but it is very rewarding to, you know, get people on the water and
Yeah.
and service these people and make sure everyone's, you know, having a good time. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
At
and
the
I
end of the
see
day,
that.
That's where I get a lot of joy from. But yeah, I could also work a little bit less, do one podcast less, you know. So, well, thanks, Arland.
Yeah.
This is, just so you guys know, this is going to be more of a regular thing, and I think like the key people in my life are Arland
Number
and
one.
Arland and Walt,
Walt's a second.
which
Solid
are,
second.
you know, and I have a lot of like really great people in my life, but in this water sports kind of foiling world, that we
Yeah.
could like have these conversations. And I feel like we've just run on, and I could run on for hours.
Yeah, I didn't notice we had talked this off this long.
Right? Like, oh, it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally. And I want to do it a little bit more often to kind of like get off a little bit off of topic.
Yeah.
Do a little bit more gear talk or like daily life stuff.
Yeah.
Foiling, you know, generated content. And I'm curious what you guys think about it, because I did it with Gio and Roy, and it was really fun. And
Yeah.
this was really fun. It was just kind of low
Just
key,
be fast and
relaxed.
fun.
People get to know you. So every so often, I'm going to have a case that kind of fits in the middle and just kind of relax and chit-chat with a buddy or
Yeah.
a friend and start venturing off. But so far, it's been a lot of fun, the whole podcast thing. And like this. You were my first podcast, and now you're my last. Goodbye.